Hey there, I'm Jen, and on today's Ride Tested, I'll be trying out the Bell MX-9 Adventure MIPS helmet. Now, this is one of the most popular adventure helmets in our lineup. To find out why, come along for the ride. Alright, so just a quick overview before we get riding. This is a full polycarbonate shell, and it is an intermediate oval fit. When it comes to ventilation, you got open and closed vent here at the chin bar, and then you got 4 vents on front, 4 vents on back. Now, it is a removable peak visor, and also for this shield, no tools required. Just go ahead and pop off these 3 screws, and you can remove either of those when you please. On the inside of this helmet, I did want to point out that MIPS liner, that bright yellow liner there, and that helps fight the rotational forces of impact. Alright, let's go riding.
Alright, so what adventure ride doesn't start with a little bit of tarmac, am I right? This is a great opportunity though to evaluate the performance of the Bell MX-9 Adventure MIPS helmet in the street environment. Real quick, just some fast basics about the helmet. It has that polycarbonate shell, it weighs in at 3.7 pounds, meets ECE DOT safety ratings, and has that MIPS liner included as well. So Bell has 3 different shell sizes they use to manage the entire sizing run of the helmet. And what that means for a rider like me that's at the far end of a spectrum, I'm going to get a better fit out of this helmet. They don't have to pad it out as much, and the fit and the quality and the look is going to be way better. You know, I've seen other manufacturers try and fit their entire sizing run into just 2 shell sizes. And what ends up happening, I look like a complete bobblehead. It's just padded out to a ridiculous amount, and the fit's just not as good. Now we got to talk about wind noise a little bit with this helmet. You know, I want to remind everyone again, this is a dual sport adventure helmet. It has this elongated chin, it has the peak visor. You know, it's derived from their motocross helmet. So the wind noise factor is going to be a lot noisier than what you're used to in a street helmet. And that typically is the case for a majority of the adventure helmets out there. Bell has tried to take some steps here to quiet it down a little. In this latest iteration of the MX-9 Adventure MIPS, they put in a new gasket seal in the visor here to help cut down that wind noise. But again, with this elongated chin bar, a lot of it's going to come up into the chin and still be a bit noisy. So understand this helmet is trying to do 2 things at once. So that's one of the sacrifices that's going to happen in a dual purpose helmet. I do want to mention the peak visor as well. I've seen some reviewers say that they've gotten the wind that just catches this peak visor and it torques their head in another direction. Not a fun time. I've been wearing this helmet for about 5 years. I've never personally experienced that. But, you know, it could certainly happen, and there's like so many variables on why that would happen. What kind of motorcycle you're riding, how aerodynamic is it, how big is your windscreen, it can all play a part. I would say if that's something you're really concerned about, go ahead and pop this visor off. It's super easy. It's just 3 hand screws. You don't need any tools. You can stick it in your backpack. So if you're going to pop on the freeway or you know you're going to be going fast and you definitely do not want that to happen to you, go ahead and pop her off. You know, I'm going to show you just how easy it is right now. We're getting close to the trailhead. I'm going to pull over. I'm going to pop off the windscreen. You're going to see that it's the same screws that connect to the visor. And we're going to pop in some MX goggles. And we're going to evaluate how this helmet does off-road.
I'm going to go ahead and pop off this shield here and get the goggles in. So just a little turn of the screws one side. Try to keep that washer there. Don't lose that guy. No tools or anything. Just go ahead and unscrew. Go ahead and pop that visor out. Woo! Don't lose it. And then we can just put our screws back in here. Goggles on. Voila. It'll look better when your head's in there, trust me. But there you go. We're ready. Let's go off-road riding.
Alrighty, so here we are on the dusty trail, and I have done my MX goggles swap. So I am ready for some off-roading adventure. MX goggles are really great to run for your dirt portion of the ride for a bunch of reasons. Top 3 reasons for me is, first of all, dust management. I think the goggles do a way better job than the visor does of keeping the dust out of your eyes. Secondly, sweat management. So off-road riding can get quite physical sometimes. They're pretty darn hot and you're gonna sweat a bunch. MX goggles they have that nice foam insert, so they do a lot to help soak up that sweat. My third and final point here is that when you take the visor out and you're wearing MX goggles, you got a lot of airflow. So this big open port now is rushing air through, and it's gonna help mitigate some of that sweat. And again, just gonna help cool down my whole head way better than if I had the visor in. I want to point out again that this helmet is derived from Bell's MX-9 lineup, so that's a motocross off-road inspired helmet. And the benefit of that is this helmet is getting all of that kind of engineering and experience pre-baked into it. So really great option for you riders out there that do quite a bit off-road in your adventure or dual sport riding. I do want to point out this helmet has that MIPS liner. And so what MIPS does, it helps fight the rotational forces of impact in an off-road crash. It's most common in the dirt and in off-road settings. So nice to have that little safety feature there for off-road. And then of course on the street, this helmet is ECE and DOT rated. You know, I've had some friends ride on dual sport adventures with just their motocross helmet on, and it's not rated for any kind of street standards, and that's a little sketch. I gotta be honest. So it's nice to have a dual purpose helmet like this that's gonna bring that MIPS liner and all those safety standards for the street all together in one. And it's doing it all at $220, guys. Like, that's actually a phenomenal price for all the features and benefits and safety standards you're getting out of this one helmet. So a lot of good things going on for the Bell MX-9 Adventure MIPS helmet. While we're on the off-road portion here, I'm going to go ahead and answer some of the FAQs that we've gotten on this helmet, starting with question number 1. Question number 1 is, can you run sunglasses in this helmet? The answer to that's yes. I've tested it with a couple of different my sunglasses, and I brought out my chunkiest, most fabulous pair to shove into this helmet, and it fit no problems. And it didn't leave any ear sores or anything like that. So I would say the majority of eyewear out there can work with this helmet. And question number 2 is, does this helmet come with a pin lock with the visor? And the answer to that is no. So if you definitely want a pin lock to come with this helmet, you can find it on the accessories page. So it is something that you could add on. Question number 3, can you add a Bluetooth headset comm to this helmet? Yeah, sure enough you can. I got my Sona here mounted in. I could just use the clamp style. I didn't have to use the adhesive style, so that's always nice. And it was a fairly easy install. You know, some helmets could be trickier than others, but this one was pretty straightforward. And I guess just to wrap up this video and this ride tested, as a summary, I would say the Bell MX-9 Adventure MIPS helmet is a really great option, affordable option for you riders out there who are like me and you love a majority of your ride to be off-road, because I think that's where this helmet, all of its benefits are really wrapped up in that off-road portion. So if you're like a 60-70% off-road rider and then 30-40% on-road, this is definitely a helmet you want to take a closer look at. All right, again, thanks for hanging out with me while we're on this ride tested with the Bell MX-9 Adventure MIPS helmet. I'm your host, Jen. Thanks for riding with me. Keep it on 2. I'm about to go off-road.